More than 11 years ago, I was driving down the freeway, headed to visit a dear friend of mine, Rob James in St. George, a man who had a significant impact on my life many years earlier. It was while I was driving that I received a phone call from Emily Wright, who asked me the following question: have you ever thought about starting an essential oil company? For me, I knew at that moment that that is exactly what we were going to do. Upon returning home, I met with Emily and Dr. Hill and myself. We met for the first time in a restaurant to discuss this possibility. And as they say, the rest is history. Now, each of my partners have played very significant roles in doTERRA's success over the years. But in the beginning, I knew that Dr. David Hill would be the key for our success. I knew we couldn't do this without him, and nor would I, frankly, have even dared try. We leaned on Dr. Hill a lot, especially in those beginning years, and he shouldered the majority of the teaching and the education. It wasn't just his ability to effectively teach about the essential oils and their use, or his profound gifts, frankly, of communication and helping people get past their doubts and their fears and give the oils a chance. It was also that he shared from his soul. His compassion for people was felt through everything he did. I could give countless and endless examples of experience that I've had with Dr. Hill. And I'm sure that many of you could do the same. But I'll not embarrass Dr. Hill further. I'm sure I'm going to hear about this later. But as we now enter this new era of essential oil research and truly integrated approach to healthcare, I just felt like I need to say a few words recognizing Dr. Hill as a key pioneer in this effort. We simply wouldn't be here today, at least not like we are, without his contribution and sacrifice. Now, in Dr. Hill's expanded role, he will continue to oversee our efforts as we move into this next frontier. His expertise, wisdom, experience will be critical in ensuring that we remain true to our mission of empowering individuals and primarily mothers in many cases. doTERRA has been a health and wellness company from the very beginning. And as all of you already understand here today, we've also been very persistent with our approach, focusing on integrated healthcare and the preventative model of medicine. We've empowered countless mothers, helping them to manage many of their families' healthcare needs over the past 11 years. Our approach has been quite different compared to many traditional healthcare options, most of whom are largely built around episodic or fee-based structures, and often treating symptoms and doing little in the way of prevention. One of our many goals is to reduce people's dependence on prescription drugs. Now, we intend to demonstrate integrative care models that can reverse the course of chronic disease. And we'll do this by establishing centers of excellence focused on significant reduction and in some cases, perhaps even elimination of some of these metabolic diseases. We started with an unwavering commitment to quality through our CPTG, or our Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade Standard, and of course our co-impact sourcing. Today, we're moving towards a model of medicinal consistency and safety, along with validation of dosage and efficacy. Does that make sense? You'll hear a lot more about this tomorrow. We will share how our healthcare initiatives are moving doTERRA, specifically doTERRA's essential oils, into a new category where others in our industry simply will not be able to follow. Now, as you'll learn over the course of the next few days, the relationships that we have and will continue to foster in this space are exciting and really quite impressive. Now, I'd like to shift gears yet again. Over the past few years, we've attempted to capture a singular statement that effectively articulates the mission of doTERRA. A few words that really describe who we are, what we do, and why we do it. Now, we landed on something recently that we feel is very special. 3 simple words with profound meaning that speak to the heart of what doTERRA is all about. I want to share with you a short video that I think captures this well.
What is purity? Is it the absence of contaminants? Something pristine, unadulterated? Or is it the way we treat others, the conditions on which we give? Is purity a love? The kind felt for a distant community as if it were a close-knit family? Or is it the will to do good for no other reason than because it's good? Is it honesty, fairness, good character? One thing's for sure, purity is not easy. The pursuit of purity requires more than just conviction. It means rejecting even the thought of cutting the corner. It means doing what's right, even when what's right is what's seemingly insurmountable. We are more than just an essential oils company. We are in the business of empowerment. Everything we do is designed to open opportunity. Whether it's a farmer inspired, a mother assured, an athlete emboldened, or an entrepreneur on fire. This is our mission, to empower through purity. It's why we don't just buy farms, we build farmers. It's why we don't just see another's potential, we make sure they see it themselves. It's why we turn wellness advocates into advocates of change through our product as well as our purpose. It's why everything we do is designed to empower others. And best of all, we're not alone. So let's pursue together. Let's pursue healthier families and happier communities, kinder interactions and stronger connections. Let's pursue understanding and common ground, humility, empathy, and charity. Let's pursue being the difference that makes all the difference. Let's pursue a smile on the face of everyone we meet and a positive impact left behind everywhere we go. Because when pure gifts of the earth are paired with pure love of each other, there is no telling what we can achieve. doTERRA, pursue what's pure.
You like that? Pursue what's pure. It's more than a tagline, isn't it? It's more than the marketing slogan. To us, these 3 words crystallize our mission as a company. From how we source our products, how we treat our partners, to how we interact with one another and the world in which we live. As we pursue what's pure, we feel will always keep us on the right path. I want to invite all of you to join with us in this mission. Now, I'd like to share with you some examples of our pursuit of pure products, pure business practices, pure intentions, and the love of humanity, and how they come to life through the process of providing you with what I consider the king of the oils, frankincense. Frankincense has been a highly valued as a trade commodity since ancient times by the Egyptians, by the Assyrians, by the Persians, by the Macedonians, many others. These precious resins make up what is believed to be the world's oldest global supply chain. Now, as many of you know, frankincense oil comes from the resin of the frankincense tree. And the resin tears, as we call them, are hardened sap, which are carefully cleaned and sorted by grade before they're distilled. Now, our frankincense essential oil is a proprietary blend of 4 types of frankincense resin: Tertiarii, proprietary, Feriana, and Secra. And these different frankincense trees thrive in different environments and in different soil types. So we source from multiple locations to ensure that our harvesting of the resin is coming from an environment for each variety of the boswellia trees to grow the very best. And we ensure the best quality, the purity, and the sustainability as well. So over the years, we have worked to eliminate the middlemen and the brokers by being at the source and partnering with trusted individuals that care as much about the people that do the work as they do about themselves making a profit. This is an example of what we'll call pure business practice. To begin with, most frankincense oil is sold today as synthetically engineered. And many times it's not frankincense oil at all. So normally, the resin is harvested and sold to shopkeepers who sell it to middlemen and consolidators, and eventually it arrives at a port for export. Historically, and unfortunately, this system has long taken advantage of the poor, or those living in the margins, who harvest and sort the frankincense trees. They end up being paid very little, or just enough to sustain life. And for some, really it's for some of the hardest work that is done. In 2014, Emily Wright and I traveled to Somalia, taking off in a small plane from Nairobi, Kenya at 2 a.m. in the morning. We were invited by one of the chief sultans to visit Somalia, and yes, I did say sultan. We flew to Bosaso, a main port city in Puntland. I think they were rather surprised when we actually showed up. No one travels to Somalia unless you have to. It has a very poor reputation, even among most of its neighboring African countries. It is very hot and arid, country with a temperature that was close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit the day that we arrived. I said 130 degrees, very hot. Many people are desperately poor, and unfortunately, there is much unrest, which has caused even more suffering among the innocent. So some would call it unwise to make such a trip, but we traveled there with pure intentions, not only in an effort to secure the needed resin, but to meet our growing demands as well. We also we had a desire to bless the lives of these people. So very important relations with trust were developed on that trip. But when we went to leave, it wasn't to be. The battery in our small airplane couldn't handle the incredible heat and had failed. So we were stuck. Now I captured this photo of Emily Wright. Emily is one of the tougher women that I have known. I've seen her in many challenging situations and conditions around the world. Yes. I captured this photo of Emily sitting on a small goatskin stool, looking a little forlorn, wondering, I'm sure, if we were ever going to get out. Unfortunately, the next morning, our Sultan friend was able to find an airplane mechanic who jump-started the engine on our airplane, allowing us to leave. Now, of course, we hoped we could fly far enough across Ethiopia to get another battery, as we, of course, wouldn't be able to restart the engine if it stopped. But fortunately, it all worked out. In 2015, we began funding the construction of warehouses to support the cooperative that we had built throughout the mountains to collect and sort the resins. These warehouses helped the cooperative function and organizing the harvesters into a network and providing many desperately needed jobs for women who do most of the sorting of the frankincense. So this partnership has been a huge success. It's been providing employment and security for those who are participating in our supply chain. Many people who previously lived lives on the margins in quiet desperation now have new economic means and a new hope for the future. Thank you. Besides generous and consistent wages, our co-impact sourcing initiative provides frankincense harvesters with on-time payments, including food and cash prepayments spread throughout the year. So, over the years, our commitment and relationships with the people of Somalia have grown strong. 2015, we completed the first school in Udawane with more than 200 children attending. In 2016, we completed the second school in Childebert, also with 200 children attending. And then these schools operate 24/7. They provide also in classes for the adults in the evening so they can add learning to their lives as well. 2017, we completed our first healthcare clinic in Timorish, bringing much needed care to the people of Puntland. Today, the majority of our frankincense resins are harvested primarily in the Sanag region, very, very remote area in Somaliland. This area is home to approximately 1/3 of Somaliland's total population. Unfortunately, it is also the home to one of the world's highest maternal and child mortality rates. Healthcare initiatives in this area are healthcare infrastructure is virtually non-existent. In fact, the only option for quality care is over 12 hours away. A trip that few, if any, can afford, and for this reason, most residents simply go without professional healthcare at all. Now, I want to briefly share with you a little bit about our latest project, which I'm going to call the Miracle Project. 3 years ago, doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation committed $3.2 million to help establish a regional hospital in partnership with our local Frankincense cooperative. The mission was to create the highest quality, most trusted healthcare facility in all of Somaliland. This turned out to be much more challenging than we originally thought. While there have been numerous attempts to bring healthcare to this region, all attempts have failed to date. There are many reasons, among which are lack of proper financial support, lack of quality, lack of infrastructure, corruption, tribal conflict. This is a very challenging part of the world. I wish I had time to share the detailed and specific goals we established for this endeavor, but two of the primary goals were to measurably reduce child and infant mortality in the Sanag region, and secondly, to become the most trusted healthcare provider to the community, government, and our donor partners. The latter objective will require effective community engagement and, of course, outstanding performance. Now, to achieve this mission objectives, the hospital, we needed the right partner. I'm proud to recognize Response Med as that partner. They are a remote site medical services provider with a very successful record of supporting healthcare facilities across the East and Sub-Saharan Africa. The Response Med team includes specialists in the fields of community health, biomedical engineering, logistics, and project management. Their team and doctors, medical professionals are providing a wide range of support services for the Sanag Specialty Hospital project. After many challenges, today, construction of the hospital's 9 main structures is in the final stages. That was awesome. Here you can see the layout. It includes a front office administration department, accident and emergency department, outpatient, diagnostics, maternal, pediatric departments, and an operating facility, as well as a general services building. A number of qualified physicians and medical professionals have already been identified to fill core staffing positions. Dr. Ahmed, the former regional health director for Somaliland, will lead the community outreach services, and then soon we'll begin an international search for our qualified hospital director. Again, this facility is going to serve a population of nearly 500,000 people. And I love the saying I keep hearing among the team members working on this project: babies by Christmas. So, now in closing, as I think back upon 2008, it was the beginning of doTERRA, and it was also the beginning of a significant recession in the United States. I remember the sense of fear and doubt that pervaded and would often try to enter my heart. We held on to hope, and we tried not to allow space for the fear to enter in. I'm sure there are many of you here today who could share similar experiences of that time. Now, as I've traveled the world for the past decade, and have met so many of you, I've learned that doTERRA means different things to different people. doTERRA provides a trusted vehicle that empowers others to discover and develop their purpose for being. It helps them see they have value. It helps them discover their why, and is something to work very, very hard for. Every human being has infinite worth and potential. The greatest leaders in doTERRA know this, and they become obsessed with helping others to find and free it in themselves. Sure, we are united in the same products, the opportunity, and often the same causes. However, the best companies in the world have a reason for existing that transcends the thing that they sell. doTERRA is in the empowerment business. And the essential oils are the perfect vehicle. Everything we do is designed to empower someone. We empower farmers to flourish. We empower financial goals to be achieved. We empower healing to be found. We have done this from the beginning through a relentless pursuit of purity. We must have pure essential oils. We insist on pure business practices. We know that our intentions must always remain pure. And we want to do this through a pure love of humanity. The pursuit is never ending. The pursuit is never easy, because the right way is almost always the hard way. We never cut corners, because cutting corners can impact purity, and purity is the only way to truly sustain lasting empowerment. The good news is we're not alone. And when the power of many come together to form the power of one, the impact for good will exceed all expectations. It cannot be measured, and it cannot be stopped. Each of you are creative. You are passionate, but mostly you are good. This ripple effect will run through the world, pushing back darkness and despair, allowing light and hope to take its place, and the world is healed once again. Thank you, and I hope you feel each other's energy and love here at this convention, and that you leave here with the knowledge that you do matter, that you can make a difference as we give back and as we serve one another. Thank you all.